Welcome back, everyone, to hashtag SDG Live from Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum. I'm Yanovitch. I'm the president of the GSMA Foundation. The GSMA is an association of 800 mobile operators. We're all united in a common purpose to unite everyone to a connected, better future linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. And today, I'm with Johan Dennelind from Telia, the CEO of Telia, who's been a wonderful champion of the SDGs, very, very committed. And so, Johan, can you tell me a little bit about Telia and also about why you personally are so concerned about the Sustainable Development Goals?
Well, thanks, Lawrence, and hi, everyone. Great to be here. I run a Telia company out of Stockholm, a telco operating in 16 countries, but mainly focusing on the Nordic Baltics, where we have a very high degree of penetration of digital services and telco services. So we're naturally in this space where we as an industry can do so much more. And that's where my passion comes in to your question. Personally, I'm very concerned about all these issues, what we can do more, what we must do more. But I also realize that my passion fits very well with the company and our industry's position and potential around the SDGs. We are critical to realize many of the SDGs. So that comes together very nicely for me.
And I know you had growing up, you had some connection to the UN and a feeling you were exposed a little bit to these issues.
Yeah, that's true, Lawrence. I grew up with a mother who was very passionate about social work, working with people not so privileged. And she also had her best friend really working for UNICEF and UN, especially around the 70s in the refugee crisis from Africa, the first real refugee crisis that we experienced. And that was, of course, an eye-opener for me. And I mean, the first word I learned in English was refugee. So that, I think, is part of my journey in my passion for the SDGs, but also for making the world a better place. So no, that's probably a touch to my personal story of this.
So, there's been a lot of conversation in the press about globalization, the disruption of technology, people being left behind. The Business Commission for Sustainable Development launched a report on Monday that really called on business to incorporate people, planet, and profits, that they can go in together in harmony, and you can create a win-win for both the northern and southern hemisphere. And they even suggest, because of incentives, of course, is that there was a $12 trillion prize out there. So what do you think about that as a CEO? Do you think that is valid? Does that resonate with you?
No, what resonates with me is not the 12 trillion. Yeah. I mean, what resonates with me is the potential we have to make an impact, and also the obligation we have to make things better. And the fact that for us it is very natural, the initiatives that we are driving, which are all, by the way, linked into the SDGs. We can maybe speak about that later. But for me, it's not something over and above that you have to do, or on the side you have to do. You have to integrate it into the way that we do business, and then you realize the potentials, which are huge. And if they're 12 or 10 or 8, it doesn't really that's not the point. And I do subscribe to the must and to the potential. So let's not just talk about either or, it's both. We have to, and there will be a potential and a reward and incentive for all of us when we get this right.
Telia has been really at the forefront of the responsibility agenda. I know that you take it very seriously inside the company. I had the opportunity to visit myself. I could feel the energy in the culture. It's very stirring. Can you tell me a little bit about how you created that? How does that happen?
I'm glad you say that, Lawrence, because ultimately that's what you want to achieve. You want to achieve a culture where it's felt, where people and our employees portray something more than just what we do to our customers. We want to do it to our stakeholders, all our stakeholders. We came from a bit of a troubled history, I have to say, where I've been here for 3.5 years. We had to reset a lot of our expectations and get our things right from the beginning. So we started to build a very focused responsibility business agenda, getting our compliance and processes and policies right to ensure that we didn't do any big mistakes again, like we had done in the past. While building that or regaining trust, you can say, and enabling that platform, we realized that this was also the starting point for triggering and building on something more, which we then comes into value creation and sustainability initiatives. Now they have come very nicely together in the SDGs for me, and our agenda, we call it all in. We have zoomed in on 4 areas within our company where people have to get passionate, and if they're not, they probably won't like to work in our company. So now we're getting that passion, and I think that's what you're feeling. We have 21,000 employees that we will now really engage. So expect and hope that people will take on our initiatives, which will be felt to our stakeholders and will be measured and will be storytelled, not just on our platform and our app, but also linked to, for instance, the SDG app that we launched in September last year. So we have a lot of great initiatives to engage, not just a few, but many. And I think that is the big difference, if I may, between the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainability Development Goals. The potential to engage more people. If you want to consumerize the SDGs, that's what we're on a mission to do, to get everybody engaged. And then I think our industry and my company has great potential and a great obligation to do more.
One issue I know that you really care about is the safety of children and safety with the new technologies. You've even developed focus groups to hear the voice of children, and I know you participate in a number of policy councils. Can you explore that issue a little bit for us?
Yeah, no, we do a lot around children. I won't dwell into everything because this you can't do enough. But one thing that I would like to share is our children advisory panel. So we went beyond just the implementation of tools to stop child pornography and child abuse. We went beyond just engaging with NGOs. We went to something we call children advisory panel to engage a lot of children and understanding what they see online and how they act online and what they want online. And we found out, maybe a little bit not counterintuitive at least, that the main thing they were looking for and were concerned about was reliable information. They want information they trust. They were not putting on top issues that we may think would come out first, like bullying or sex or pornography or something. It was reliable information, sources they can trust. That was paramount for children in our environment. So, and then we should pick up on that. How do we ensure that children get reliable information? I think that's something we have taken very strongly on board and working with our partners on.
It's interesting that they're so discerning at an early age.
Yes.
Really. And I don't know how many companies take the time to hear their voice.
Well, I think we all should, because we've all been there, and that's where it starts. If you get the values right early, I think a lot of the problems that we see today will be eradicated.
Well, beyond aligning Telia to these larger goals and purposes, I know that you have a leadership agenda to help Telia bring the message to the world, to Nordic countries. Can you tell us a little bit about how you would, in the Nordic countries, help to bring the SDGs? The Millennium Development Goals in the past were considered really for the Southern Hemisphere. Now we know the SDGs create this unified platform. Can we explore that a little bit?
I was on the topic before, and I think it's really a chance for us to embrace all the SDGs, embed that into the social good that you have as a company or embarking on. But we're taking one step further to ensure that all our employees have the opportunity, and we have the expectation that they will, to engage in our platform with our partners, with our customers, with our stakeholders. And that includes governments, that includes NGOs, that includes other types of initiatives where you can make an impact personally. That will set the stories that we're looking for to spread the word and to consumerize the SDGs, if you want, because we need to get everybody on board. It's not enough if a few are running and doing the hard work. This is something that everybody needs to do a little bit every day. So the Nordic Baltics is a great place to start, I think. We have high digital penetration. We have a high awareness for these type of issues, the SDGs, for instance. So I think it brings nicely together the two, and where we can make a big impact in the Nordic Baltics. And we have a great presence in all these countries, and we meet regularly with governments and stakeholders. So I always take the opportunity to push this message and engage around these topics wherever I go. So hopefully this pin will be very known in all our markets, because it's still not. Even here in Davos, people come up and ask me, what is this? And that next year we hope everybody knows this, right? It's something that should be natural for everyone.
Well, you went to the UN General Assembly, you launched the app that the GSMA and the UN developed with Project Everyone, SDGs in Action. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage everyone to download it, and thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you.